Hey, this is Dan here, and welcome to the second episode of the Confidad podcast. A little bit about the why we exist. Last week, we talked about the idea of interdependent parenting, and I think one of the struggles that we have is spending enough time or energy on our parenting. A lot of us might feel really confident in our profession. We feel pretty good about where we're going. We're making gains and growth, and we're meeting the metrics every year as we measure and shoot for goals, set goals, whether you use the 12-week year or a productivity planner or whatever method you do in your career. The reason you're growing in confidence and the reason that you're growing in your success is because you have a goal in front of you, right? Like you've taken an assessment of where you are, you've taken an assessment of where you want to be, and you've kind of reverse engineered these steps to achieve that goal. And so if we don't do that in other areas of our life, can we just expect to have growth? Can we expect to go anywhere? And yet a lot of us, I have come to encounter people who really struggle having deep, joyful connections with their kids, not because they don't want to, it's not because of a lack of desire. It's actually because of a lack of confidence or a framework. They know they want it, but without a framework, without an understanding of how to get where they're going, they just assume that like it's there. Like I've talked about before, there's no handbook for parenting, right? There's lots of great parenting books out there. There's lots of great ways of learning how to relate to kids when it comes to psychology and sociology and all these different ways. It's wonderful. But without a framework and without confidence, how can you get there? Right? Like if we think about this, it's a no-brainer that we feel good and confident and successful in a career and lacking in parenting if we haven't put the work in. If you haven't invested any time or money or energy into parenting, how can you expect to be good at it? And yet we expect our lawyers, our electricians, our doctors, everyone in those professions, we expect, hey, show up and learn so that you can do your job, so that you can take care of me when I hire you, right? And yet our kids are going, hey, show up, learn, grow. So the reality is we don't have all these parents walking around not wanting deep, joyful connection with their kid. Most of them do. Most of us do. But if we were going to measure how much time and energy and money we've been putting into learning how to create those joyful bonds and deep connections with our kids, is it even a priority? Just because you want it doesn't make it a priority. And so I think about that in the way of how we are here to serve. We want to help you have a framework in order to build those deep, joyful bonds with your kids and actually to instill confidence in you, because the reality is you are the only person who can serve in the parenting role that you've been given. If you're a mom, you're your kid's only mom. If you're a dad, you're your kid's only dad. Like, let that sink in. Everyone else, whether it's a stepmom or an aunt or a guardianship, foster mom, foster dad, and maybe that's your role, we can only fulfill the role that we've been given. And so to be confident in that is really, really important. Because if you're confident, you're going to find more joy in the role. And if you're confident, you're going to build deeper connection, because you're not just flippantly trying stuff or trying to avoid stuff or bringing in devices and other things to distract your kid. You're actually paying close attention. You're paying time and money and energy to be with them and say, I see you, I hear you, and I know you. And here in our house, this is the safest place for you to grow up. Safest place for you to fail, safest place for you to find out who you are in this world. That's our job as parents. Our job is to build that confidence in ourselves and to take frameworks and to move them into realities in our lives. So if you are a parent who is wanting a deeper, more joyful bond with your kid, and yet you haven't invested anything in it? Can I encourage you to join us in our monthly masterclass, where we get together with other parents who also have that same desire and have made it a priority in their lives to grow, to learn frameworks, and to build confidence in their parenting? You don't have to be a terrible parent to benefit from our concepts and our coaching. But if you have a desire to be a better parent, to build in your confidence, and to learn new frameworks, you're a perfect fit.